Techmo, where is your Enshittification of Nvidia video? We've been waiting for it for a while now. Don't worry, I'm getting to that. However, the Great American RAMpocalypse is finally upon us, and it's also actually a symptom of tech Enshittification. So consider this to be a little bit of a special video in that category. I plan on calling these small spitbally videos the symptoms of Enshittification. So do at least consider this to be part of the Enshittification series in at least some small capacity. Now, obviously by both the thumbnail and the title of this video, you probably know exactly what I am talking about. I had been hearing about Crucial and the fact that they are no longer selling RAM to the consumer market. Instead, they are only opting to sell it to companies like Nvidia, OpenAI, Anthropic, and whatever other parasitic AI company that is begging and pleading for as much RAM as possible for their world destruction data centers. Now listen, the only RAM that I'm looking for is a dick rammed up my ass. Wait, that's not part of the script. Now, I know exactly what you're sitting there thinking. Techmo, I'm British. Or Techmo, I'm Canadian. Or Techmo, I'm Mexican. And this RAM shortage affects me. Why did you title this video The Great American RAMpocalypse? Well, firstly, I'm happy to know that I have audiences in that part of the world and those parts of the world. I see y'all. But the reason the video is named The Great American RAMpocalypse is not only because is this a problem in the United States, but it's also a problem that the United States is causing. This is a problem with greedy American tech corporations that are causing these types of shortages. And if you want to see how bad it's gotten, allow my human assistant to show you. Take it away, human assistant!
That is $906. Look at this.
Thank you, unnamed human assistant. Now please, go get yourself something to eat. You've been doing a lot of legwork as of late, and I really appreciate having you on the channel. See? People who work with me get treated with dignity and respect. Crazy to think about that considering that your workplace doesn't. I know this, because I also live in America. Look, the RAMpocalypse is starting to get more and more and more insane for consumers. But not only is it getting more insane for consumers, it's starting to also get insane for other tech companies as well. Don't believe me? Here, yesterday, and take into consideration that yesterday is according to when this video was being recorded, but yesterday, Tweaktown put out this article. Dell says RAM shortages are out of control and tells staff to expect huge price hikes. So not only is this affecting the PC gaming market and hobbyists, it's affecting the PC manufacturing base as well. So Dell will end up raising the price of laptops, desktops, and monitors. The proposed price hikes will range from between 10 to 30%, with even higher costs for systems that have 32 or more gigs of RAM. Honestly, you should know this and expect this by now, especially if you watch a channel like mine. But with any corporation in America, if they ever say we're going to hike the price between 10 to 30%, you should always expect that they'll do the highest possible amount and maybe even scrape off a little bit more, aka 31, 32 to maybe even 35%. Again, it's a multinational corporation based in the United States. They typically operate in bad faith, especially in 2025. Do not think that these guys are your friends, and do not think that they are not trying to scrape as much money from you as possible. These hikes are planned to take effect in December 17th, so if you do plan on getting a Dell computer, get it right now before it even happens. Get it right now. Or, honestly, you could wait out and listen to what I also have to say about this at the end of the video. But, and I really do mean, if you do plan on getting a Dell computer, get it as soon as fucking possible, because we are in the long haul on this one. We really, really are. And this doesn't even include potential damage that this could do to something like the Steam machine. You know, the thing that Valve had just recently announced. As pointed out by Windows Central, given the fact that this RAMpocalypse is affecting companies like Dell, it wouldn't be a surprise if Valve was also affected and decided to follow suit. And not just with the Steam machine, but also the Steam Deck and the Valve Index. Essentially, you're going to need to start locking in any sort of purchases for any new hardware you'd like to get because of the fucking DRAM shortage. So if Dell is doing this, and it's possible that Valve might start doing this too, you need to assume that every single manufacturer will start hiking up its prices and will start price gouging as much as they possibly can to cash in on the DRAM price surge. Now, according to Tom's guide, this will also potentially affect Apple if this trend continues. Now, normally Apple is able to work out some sort of back-end deal with most RAM manufacturers and companies. However, most articles that I have read seem like they're going to try to weather the storm for the next few months, or maybe even a year, at the absolute maximum. But once 2026 hits, boom! Expect those prices to steadily rise, specifically for MacBooks and iPhones. You know, the two things that a lot of people get all the time. Again, you need to lock the fuck in. This is not a joke. We are teetering on the edge of going from code red to code black. For fuck's sake, RAM is so expensive, Samsung won't even sell Samsung its own RAM. We'll get into that in a bit. We'll get into how stupid that is shortly. But you know it's bad when your own semiconductor and chip manufacturing division won't even sell the resources to the phone making division. And again, why does Samsung need to purchase equipment internally like that? They literally control the whole ecosystem and every step involved with that. Imagine me selling a keyboard to myself so I could write a script for a video. Again, it just doesn't make sense. But whatever, nothing needs to make sense in our omega capitalist hell pit that we call America and South Korea. Now, going back to purchasing things within the company, the only thing that I could think of is if you were Samsung of America trying to ship something in from Samsung of Korea, right? That's the only time in which I could think of something like that happening. So not only are we having the entire swaths of the tech sector that is related to RAM be completely neutered in order to feed the beast that is the modern AI data center, but GPUs might also become next on the chopping block. Do you remember trying to get a GPU during COVID? Or hell, even post-COVID? A lot of that sector was being thrown away because of crypto and NFTs. Yeah, remember that disgusting trend? The blight on technology? The so-called NFT? And I don't mean nice fucking titties. I mean non-fungible token. Remember when GPU prices were becoming absolutely fucked because of that entire trend? Well, yeah, expect that to happen again within the coming years, since Nvidia is no longer making GPUs for the gaming market, and instead is only making GPUs that are optimized for server farms and AI. You have no idea how much I hate Nvidia and how much I hate Jensen Huang, but again, we'll get into that in the next video when I do talk about Nvidia, because oh, believe me, I've got a lot of shit to say about Nvidia, and I've got a lot of shit to say about the degenerate that is Jensen Huang. Now, something else that is worth mentioning that is causing the American part of the Great American RAMpocalypse, and when I say American part of the American RAMpocalypse, what I mean is internally in America. I am not talking about anything that is going on in, like, Britain or Vietnam or any of these other countries that could be importing parts from America. This is specifically domestic policy. The Trump administration's tariff methods and the fact that the United States has massive tariffs on Chinese, Taiwanese, Korean, and European semiconductors, and just chips in general, and honestly, no, just everything in general, right? At least in America, the problem is exacerbated because our country's shit economic policy and how we're engaging in global trade. So do also look into that type of stuff when it comes to tariff increases, just general tax increases, and especially on these types of products. These tariffs are not in your best interest, and no matter how much the government tries to convince you that they are, they're not. And if you don't believe me, again, go to your local Best Buy or your local computer store, try to find RAM, NVMEs, or GPUs for a good price that are not used and absolutely fucking destroyed. It's practically fucking impossible. Americans need to wake up and smell the coffee already. Now, before I end off this video, I'm going to actually become a little bit conspiratorial on this one, but bear with me, it's not all that far-fetched, and it is actually grounded in reality. It's not like some random Bigfoot conspiracy. Now, think about every service that you subscribe to, every single service that you pay into in order to buy a digital license that you're not even allowed to honestly hold on to the product even after you purchase it. Think about everything that you use that could just disappear if you don't play by a company's rules. Think about the rise of services like Game Pass and cloud gaming, which are, things that I honestly think everybody should know at this point is trash, especially cloud gaming. And I especially want you to think about one of the phrases that was published in an essay from the World Economic Forum, and that being, you will own nothing and you will be happy. It is not entirely out of the equation that these large tech companies are planning on destroying the market of personal computing and ownership over a computer. My conspiracy is that these companies and these corporations want you to have a weak machine that cannot run these games and will force you to stream your games online over some cloud-based service that these companies also control, so that you are forced into playing by their rules, so that you are forced into using what they want you to use, so that you are forced into piling up more and more and more data into their services that they will sell, so that way they can continue their own personal heist of your user data and your analytics. I think it should become extremely obvious that these tech-based mega corporations want absolute control over every aspect of your life, especially entertainment and what you do in your free time. They are willing to destroy the services that you use, the services that you enjoy, in order to obtain this goal. From the web browser to video editing software, from the personal computer to the smartphone. These techno-feudalists want every single aspect of your life to be controlled, and they are willing to leech off of you and trounce every service that you deem useful to you. Hold on to your current machines and maintain them to the best of your ability. Don't plan on making any upgrades anytime soon. We need to show these tech companies that we are not fucking around. We need to show them that we are willing to drive down their profit margins by abstaining from these practices and these purchases. And if you do plan on upgrading your GPU, swap your NVIDIA card for an AMD card. Even though AMD has problems too, I'm not saying that they don't. We are all in this on the long haul. We all need to fight with each other. We need to fight with each other, not against each other. These corporations do not have your interests at heart. They are the enemy. And it is about time that we actually show that we can fuck up their profit margins. Now, I hope you liked this video. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Techmo, out.